had no clue what it is going to be, but it's just the excitement of something new and starting a new journey in life.
Since you're already a chef, you're cooking. As you said, there's times when you're in the kitchen a longer time and sometimes shorter. So who cooks at home?
Did you ever help your mom in the kitchen? Yeah, it sounds like a mix of, excitement and struggle.
How do you, calm yourself down by saying, it's okay even if she's met a milestone? I can see it again. How do you kind of do that?
I love that. I think it's all about balancing family, career, and everything, right? Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Rai Connect, stories that inspire and journeys that unite. I'm Sakshita Rai.
And I'm Pranita. Today we have a very special guest whose journey is very inspiring.
He came to Canada as a student. He pursued his passion in cooking. He is now a full time chef. He is also a proud father, balancing it all with his ever evolving career. Please welcome Chad Shetty.
Hi, Pranita, and hi, Sakshata, and thank you for inviting me here at this podcast. I'm more than excited and happy to share my journey with you guys.
Thank you, Chad. Without any further ado, let's start from the beginning. Where are you from in India and what made you decide to come to Canada?
So I am from Bombay. That's where I grew up. I didn't even know where Canada is on the map to answer this question. It just happened I believe in destiny, and this is also, a destiny that happened to me. I had no plans to come to Canada, but there was a joint venture between one of the schools in India and one of the colleges here in Canada was a private school. So that's how I got introduced. Actually, one of my friend was the dean who was running the program. And when I reached out to him, he presented this opportunity, and that's how introduced, and that's how I landed in Canada.
Awesome. So, what were you doing back home before you came to Canada?
So my family is in hospitality business. So I was involved with my dad in running a restaurant, one of the restaurant that he owns back home, which we still is running successfully. And I always wanted to pursue the chef part of the hospitality industry. That was always my goal, my dream. You know, it always attracted me. So that is how I ended up enrolling into this course, and that's how came to Canada. And yeah, that was one of the connections.
Yeah, that's really, I think it's very inspiring to actually see you like, okay, you had this goal of becoming a chef and you are now a chef.
Yes, yeah, that is
So, it's very rare, right?
very happy about to achieve that goal.
That's awesome. And coming here to Canada must have brought its own challenges and, a lot of ups and downs. So I was just wondering, what are some of your biggest challenges which you can still remember when during that initial days?
Yes, coming to Canada was very exciting. New country, new journey, new life, completely different way of life that I had no clue what it is going to be. But it was just the excitement of something new and starting a new journey in life. Definitely, there was a lot of hardship. Um, I was 27 when I joined this program, so I was not like really young, but I was not that old either. So I was right in the middle. In my age, a lot of people were settling down, but I decided to move across the world and start this new journey. So my biggest fear actually was, um, you know, for me, food or living by myself was not a big deal, but my laundry, how am I going to do my laundry was my biggest challenge because I've never done that back home. So I think, that always stands out. Like, I did not know like what I'm getting into, but of course life is, there's a lot of help here, like not help in the sense of technology and machines and stuff like that. So, but I didn't have that idea back home, like how am I going to do my laundry and stuff. So that was my biggest fear initially. That was overcome like within a week. But yeah, like, going to school, I also had to work at the same time, financially supporting, uh, taking care of myself and like, getting things done in terms of school, in terms of work. So it was a very hectic kind of a schedule, like morning 6 o'clock, we would start our school, and then it would go on till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then an hour break, and then 2 o'clock my work would start, which would go along till 9 in the evening. And then again, same thing, rinse and repeat 5 days a week. And then weekends also I was working and supporting myself. and also funding my tuitions that way. So those are like some challenges that I won't say challenges, but it was an experience in its own right. So yeah, it was good. It was an experience to go through all that in this journey.
Yeah, it sounds like a mix of, excitement and struggle. But did you have any support at the time? Like when you landed, did you know anybody here or?
I did not know anybody. So even today, we like, I'm married, I have a kid now, but we don't have any relatives here. We don't have any, family here. We have friends who are like family or more than like families, but yeah, there was no support at that time. So it was all by myself. But no, we had good friends at that time too. Like I had personally good friends, and a lot of people who come here has shared the same kind of journey. So it is easy to relate and easy like your friends become your family, and easy to relate to the problems and then overcoming with solutions, because we all are in the same boat at the same time. So that was not that difficult. Like we all understood each other, and yeah, we kept on moving with that journey.
Yeah, I think without any support, and it must be definitely challenging for you during the initial days. And also coming from, India, which is a warmer place, and now like you're in the cold winter, and
Yeah.
adjusting to the weather conditions is also one thing. And with that, you're like, handling all your job and studies at the same time. Also, no support here. And yeah, I think it's really important to have like friends. So one you who you can share things with, and that way I think you got lucky that you got really good friends.
Yes, yeah, true. That is true. It was an experience also. It was not like, of course, those are struggles, but, I look an experience path rather than, just saying it as a struggle, because, whatever experience I had at that point has made me what I am today. You good or bad, no matter what it is. And life is all about experiences. So, yeah, so that is how I look at it.
That's awesome. So you chose a career as a chef, which is a demanding field itself, right? What drew you to this culinary world?
I always had a passion to become a chef. Again, I didn't have a very clear understanding what a chef's day to day looks like. What always inspired me is looking at food shows or food networks back home. Like Anthony Bourdain was, that I can remember a very great show that I used to watch and I used to follow. Travel and Leisure was one of the channels that I used to follow. So I was always attracted to like the regiment in the kitchen, the uniform of the chef. So I was very attracted, and I thought like I still like food, as I was involved with my dad in the food business. Running the day-to-day operation was, it came very naturally to me, as being involved in the business from when I was 19 years old. So I didn't like the understanding about the ingredients. So I had a good base foundation, per se, but like, hands-on, I did not, which I only gained that after coming to Canada. So yeah, that is one of the things that always attracted me towards this profession.
Did you ever help your mom in the kitchen?
No, she would never let me go into her kitchen. Even today, she won't let me in her kitchen. No, even though I'm an established chef, I run kitchens, but she won't let me in her kitchen.
Yeah, that's incredible. However, everything, your hard work, everything shows here. But there's definitely a journey after you became a student. Then you moved on to become a professional chef. So what was the journey like? Like, in the sense, like, how was the job industry? How was it getting that first job?
Right.
Yeah.
So my full in terms of first job, like the courses that we have in Canada is always especially like I did culinary management. So one of the components with the culinary management was co-op, where you have to spend some time in the industry, actually working in the industry. It is a paid internally, a paid co-op, which is a part of the culinary management program. So you have to finish that in order to graduate. So that gave me a good exposure. So I never had any issues with that. And that was also a stepping stone or a, entry into the doorway of hospitality industry. Because from there, then you make connections and you work with the chef and sous chefs and other chefs. And so when they move on in their journey, if you are good enough, they will also take you along with them, or you can also approach them and ask them like, I'm ready for my next opportunity, or I'm looking to expand my horizons like with other genres. So that way it's mostly connections. So it's always with the chef's connection that we get into the door if we are looking for other opportunities. So that's how I got into my first job as a co-op, and then from there just following the chefs that I really wanted to spend time with, or I wanted to learn how they run their brigade or their establishment. So that's how it happened.
That's nice to know. And I think this piece of information. So, how many years was that course?
So well, that was a 2-year program
Okay.
with a 12-month internship, so co-op. So first year you do your 6 months co-op, second year you do your 6 months co-op. You work in all different departments, and you get to learn. You do service, you do prep work, you do events, you do banquets. So you get a good base level exposure as to what the industry is, what the kitchen environment is, especially with somebody who is very new to the industry and all like has a passion. So it is a good opportunity for them to at least test the waters before they really step their foot into the industry, to see if this industry is for them.
Yeah, I think your experience, like the information which you're given, I think if anybody is planning on, coming to a new country and to pursue their culinary field, I think this would be a good piece of it, information for them. Absolutely. Yes. And so now just switching a gear a little. So now you are also a proud father, yes, to a young child. So how has your perspective changed in your life and, the career?
Um, so before I was married and before I started my family, for me, cooking was everything, spending time in the kitchen. As I said, I don't have any family here. So for me, my family became the people that I was working with, my chefs, my sous chefs, my co-workers. So we would spend a lot of time in the kitchen, as kitchen is a very demanding profession, and it's not a 9 to 5 job. It's more than that. So initially, like, those were the people that I would spend time with more. But now after I got married, like, it is the perspective is completely changed as I'm getting older and more sensible, or more experience. Like, for me now, family is more important. Now, with the job currently that I have, that also gives me the liberty, to make my own schedule, and, to get out of my work environment if I have to with some appointments. But it's been a beautiful, like, transformation. I think, like, in life, there are steps, there are stages where everybody passes through. You have your college days, then you have your working days, then you have your family days. And yeah, that's how, you just keep, as you said, switching gears. So this has been beautiful, like this part of the journey right now that I'm having with my young daughter. My wife is like so fulfilling and so satisfying. It's not like I'm not thinking about work all the time, and like, and after experiencing the industry for such a long time, now it's a second nature. So I'm not thinking a lot about work, like it just comes naturally. So that way I can also spend, like, when I'm with my family, I can focus 100% with my family, spend that quality time with my daughter, and like, have a very like meaningful and a quality time spent with them.
Yeah, parenting basically changes everything, doesn't it? Yeah, so that would have been my next question to you. Like, hospitality industry being so challenging, and then you becoming a father. Obviously, it's like when you work long hours, your tone, like, what is my daughter doing at home? What's milestones is she meeting? So, how do you, calm yourself down by saying it's okay, even if she's met a milestone, I can see it again? How do you like kind of do that?
Right. So I have a very loving and supporting wife. So she never lets me miss any of her milestones. With these days, technology, uh, you know, even if you're not there with technology, you can be right there. So, and also, like, I don't think so. Like, she is now almost 2, and I haven't missed any of her milestones. Uh, I've been there always. Like, it looks like, she always updates her software whenever on a weekend when we are there. around her. So I'm usually off Sundays and Mondays, and that's when she updates her software and she gets a new milestone, like her crawling, her walking. That all happen in front of us. So so far I haven't missed out on those big milestones. And also, I spend a lot of time, like even if I'm at home, my most of the time is spent with them. So yeah, I haven't missed any milestone, touch wood so far. So and even if I do, like my wife always sends me photos, or she is in daycare when she was 10 months old, so we always get updates through our app. So we know her activities, we know when what she ate, how much she ate, like all those updates comes through the app. So it's very connected, like so we don't miss out that much. Like we know, and we can always sort of check these things and know where she is at any given day. Yes.
Thanks. So I'm just, I was just wondering the initial days, when she was born. So obviously, like back home, we'll have our like family, relatives, and so many other people. Even if you're busy with your work, like there are so many people to look after the child. But here, it's in when we are in a new country on our own, like it gets very difficult. So it's just you, your wife, so how did you manage those initial days, like with your work, and did you get any leaves from your work, or how was that journey?
Yeah. So here in Canada, like, parents get leave, like paternity leave. So when she was born, I took 2 weeks, and then my wife took 9 months, and then I took another 2 months in the end of my wife's maternity leave. So when she was born, it was a planned pregnancy. So we had the opportunity to pick the date. So we picked on my day off, and that's how we planned it. She was born on a Monday, early in the morning. So that was planned, and then 2 weeks I was there with my wife, and I should like kudos to my wife because she's very strong, and she has done an excellent job of like taking care of Naira when I was at work. And also with my flexibility at work at the moment, I was always home in the evening at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, depending upon if I'm not doing any events. And so I was there to support them. And it's not an easy task, but again, till you don't do it, you don't know it. And once you have done it, then it doesn't feel as daunting. Because in India, you have help for everything. So you become a little bit reliant on people. You become a little, dependent on other people. Here, you have no opportunities as such. Here, you have to, either you swim or you sink. Yeah. So you know, you have to swim. There's no other way. So you do manage, like these hardships. If you think about it, it does seems like, oh my god, but when you put your feet into it and you start doing it, then things become easy, and you keep doing that, it just becomes easier and easier. So yeah, so that's how we again an experience. Like life is all about experience. See, this is also a different part of experience of life. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really great to hear. I think those initial days when you get those leaves from work, or the government supports us, so I think that part is really important.
Very helpful as well.
Very helpful.
Yes, very helpful for the parents. Like this country does provide those perks, per se. Even if there is so much taxes here, but still we get those perks from the government that does support us in terms of like finance, or in terms of spending time with your family. So yeah, those are beneficial perks that you have that really helps you with this journey.
Yeah, and also I think the husband and wife, if you're like supporting each other and doing it together, I think then
Yes, yeah, it becomes less stressful. Absolutely right. Like you cannot do it without each other. You have to be hand in glove to to overcome any adversity. If you have, like, so the support is very important. The understanding is very important. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. I think it's all about balancing family, career, and everything, right? So in this journey, like what has been your most rewarding, part?
in terms of like
Your career,
right.
yeah,
Um,
and family, like
everything
everything.
in terms like every aspect has been, fruitful in its own ways. My culinary journey, like, I have a good job right now, very settled. I've been there for the past 6 years now. It's a catering company based in Toronto. So the flexibility is there. I have a good reputation with my owners, so the trust is there. My experience is there. Like, I'm involved in a lot of projects there. So it's been very fruitful. And as the same thing goes with my family life, it's been very fruitful. We have a daughter now. She's growing and seeing her transitions from a little, baby to now she is a toddler. So seeing that, her being so um, like stationary to now she is walking and running around, and learning things and started to speak and say mommy and daddy. So yeah, that is very, very, very rewarding. Like these things are like, it just touches that beautiful, nerve in your heart, and it makes you melt.
True. Yeah, that's absolutely inspiring. Not just your journey as a chef. You came as a student, you moved to become a chef, now a father. Obviously, a very inspiring journey. What would you, what would one advice be that you want to give to people who are wanting to come to Canada with the intention to study, or be in the hospitality industry?
Right.
What would you tell them?
So I I always think like, the way I came to, even though I did my hotel management in India, I never worked. I did my co-ops and internships in the hotels, but that was it. And then I joined my dad's business. So I saw the overall management part of running a restaurant. So I never was involved in the actual skill perspective. So if somebody wants to come to any foreign country and start their journey, I think going to a school or getting affiliated with a school and starting a journey through that process gets you a better foundation to be more established and to be more to understand in a finer detail as to how things are, because school teaches you a lot of things. It gives you a good foundation, and also it gets you a lot of connections to actually, to go into the industry and work. You can be a co-op, and then you can meet different chefs, you can meet different co-workers from other places in the world, especially with Canada. Like we have people from all over the world. That gives you a good exposure, and from that point, then you can see if this is really for you. You want to, you get a good idea of what the industry is, what the workload is, and what the demand is from this profession. So that way you can make your, wise decision as to do you really want to do this, and then from there you can, you make your connections to the industry, and then you can go finding an actual job, and then starting your career. It's a tough job, but it's also a very rewarding job. It's you get an instant gratification of whatever you're doing right away. It's not like, do something now. The results are not out for like 6 months or a year. Like you know it right away. You cook something, you present it in front of the guest. The guest eats it, and you get that instant feedback from them as to how you performed in the moment. So it's very like the instant gratification that you get with this profession. I think that is very rewarding, and the teamwork that goes into it, because it's all about the team. You're not just by yourself. You have a whole brigade of chefs, and you have your sous chefs and chefs who are running the show. So it's like the teamwork, the bonding, the understanding, people from all different places, but the language is still the same. It's all about the food. So that will really help if you go through the channel of getting yourself educated in with the country that you're going into. Will give you a very good foundation.
What's the best dish you cook?
So I've trained in mostly like now most of the genres, like let's say like French, Italian, Japanese, Chinese, Indian, Mediterranean. So my favorite genre to cook now is Indian. I am from India. Maybe it sounds a little biased, but you know, after cooking for like 16 years now, I now truly appreciate and understand the complexity of our Indian cuisine with the spices, or the different kind of dishes, whether it be a meat-based dish or a vegan dish or a vegetarian dish. Like we have so much, like a whole gamut of varieties of food in our subcontinent. And it is so fascinating, even to like just to experiment with dishes, uh, look out for new recipes and just execute those recipes. So I really enjoy cooking Indian food, like from north to south, from east to west, and I just love that the complexity of the dishes. The different flavors, the different regions in India. Food changes every 50 kilometers.
Well, that's very inspiring, Chad. From becoming a chef, you started off as a student, then you became a chef, now a father, obviously. So, it looks like you had a dream and you're kind of achieving that dream, right? So, there are a lot of people, a lot of immigrants or students who want to come to Canada or any other country for that matter, who are dreaming too. What would be that piece of advice you would give them, like, in terms of what they should do so that they can come and do the right thing here?
Right, that's a very good question. My advice would be, my journey was I enrolled into a school. So I did a lot of research back home in India as to where I want to go. Now, of course, like that, the course that I came and joined was a joint venture. So I spent 6 months in India. I went to an ITM college in Kharghar in New Bombay, Mumbai, and we had to do a 6 months component there to get our foundations right. And then a chef from Canada came, inspected us, and did see our progress as to where we are at. And then he would grade us. And then once we pass that grading, then we would get the second component was here in Canada, in Naira College. So that's how I did that journey. My advice would be like to get enrolled into a good culinary school if you want to do, culinary management. And that way you get a good foundation, that way you get a good introduction also as to into the culture, into the country. Um, and then again with co-op you get more exposure of the industry, get more good connections with the chefs, and that way it makes your, like, it gives you a good strong foundation to begin with. So that would be my advice for anybody who's looking to come to any country in the world. Like, do your research, be sure where you want to go, research about that school, see who the faculties are, read about them, at least get a good little introduction about the people that you're going to spend some time with. So that is my advice to them.
That's nice. So, when you applied for your jobs here, like how did that happen? Like, initially when you got your co-op, and your first job.
So my first job was again through the co-op, and that was also my full-time job. Um, so that was it's a restaurant called Old Winery in Niagara on the Lake, Ontario, Canada. I used to make pizza, so I did that for 6 months. Very tough job, like from, let's say, emptying a truckload of wood through getting the oven. It was a wood fire oven, so you had to get the fire going into the oven, making your own pizza dough, making your own pizza sauce, making all the ingredient that goes as a topping on these pizzas. That gave me a very good strong foundation, and also taught me about hard work, and again, working hard and then seeing the results right away as well. So um that was my first job, and through that job then I made connections. So let's say my sous chef, if he went and explored some other job opportunities, I would either, if I want to go and work with him, I could, that way, with that connection, I could follow him and, join another establishment, work there, or, zero in on a chef whose food is really good, who has a good, great name in the market. And then if I want to go and work for them, I would go and apply with my resume, go and give them an interview. Also, you like work as, like, spend some time working interview in the kitchen. That gives me an opportunity to see what their team is and what the kitchen is, because I'm going to spend a lot of time there. And also it gives an opportunity to them for to see me, my skill level, to see my performance, and based on that make the judgment to give me the employment or not. So it works both ways. So that's how I approach the job market, either through reference or through spending time in their kitchen to see and to show, both at the same time.
So, are there any option to upskill yourself in this industry?
Yeah, there is a lot of things that you can upskill. You can, like, take courses, like different cuisine courses, or you can also do, like, like cold kitchen or bakery or pastry. So you can specialize in all these things. And it's also in management level. You can take account courses because math is very important in the kitchen as well. We run with numbers as well. So when we develop recipes, it's all about, weighing out things, costing it, getting the right ingredient or costing the right ingredient for the dishes, and putting some margin and then selling it to the customer. So that way you can upskill your skills.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, in the near future, do you see yourself opening your own restaurant?
That is one of my dream. I want to, in this country, as I have, like, my family back home also owns restaurants. So, but here it's like a little. I find it a little difficult as I'm so into the industry. Like, looking it now from the outside, it, like, I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. That is one of my goal. I would love to have my own space where I can showcase my skills that I've learned for so many years, and run a team and grow a business. That is my next step, definitely. Thanks for asking that question. Yeah, that is my next step that I want to achieve, the next goal in my life.
So, this restaurant, will it be an Indian restaurant, or do you have anything in mind?
Initially, I would like to open up an Indian restaurant because here, people crave for Indian food. Life is so busy. Family, the husband and wife are working. They don't have enough time to spend that precious time that they have in the kitchen and cook for them. So a lot of people like to eat outside and spend quality time doing other things. So yes, it would be, that is my thought right now at this moment, that I want to open up an Indian restaurant. So we'll see how it goes. Like, once I have something established, then I would like to, you know, do something else, like, something creative or something different ideas with the menu, in terms of menu, to open something else when there is some good cash flow and the business is stable. And that's when I would like to open something of my own, like my creativity, showcasing my creativity basically.
That's nice to hear. So, one more thing I wanted to ask you, like, this cooking itself, right? Like, even the daily cooking which we do at home, it's like so tiring. Even if you're doing for 1 hour or 2 hour, it's physically very tiring, right? So, how do you manage, like, physical, mental? There will be a lot of stress. So, do you do any kind of exercise, or do you do any kind of prep to, be I'm sure you'll have to stand the whole day while cooking. How do you manage all that?
I think your body gets used to it after you do it for such a long time. um yes, I, like, as I'm getting older, I can feel it in my body. Even like now, the work is not like, completely standing in the kitchen. Yes, there are times when I have to, when I'm running events, like bigger scale events. Now it is mostly managing the team, making sure things are organized for them, making sure, everything is, the recipes are followed. It's spot checks, tasting the food, having a chat with the team, conducting meetings, and things like that. So I moved on, uh, not saying, moved on from the kitchen. I'm still a part of the kitchen, but my most of the time now is spent in, like, in organizing things for them, and so they are set up for success. So, like, doing the inventory management, doing the payroll, doing the labor management, things like that. So I spend most of my time there. So sitting in the office and, getting crunching these numbers and making sure, putting the orders in, maintaining the inventory. So that is where I spend most of the time, and also running big scale events, like before, for anywhere from 200 to 1,000 people. That's where I have to be hands-on physically, delegating the team, executing events. Um, and the more time you spend, you get better equipped with how to handle the stress, how to manage the fatigue, and things like that. Yeah, it is a gruesome and tiring profession. So you have to be strong, physically and mentally.
Yeah. I think if you're passionate about something, you will, do it.
Yes, yeah, that is true. Like, when I walk into the kitchen, for me, everything is so second nature. They say, if you love what you do, will never work a day in your life. So, I do believe that because that is what my passion is, and I like and I love to do, and it comes very naturally too. So it is not, I'm not like, uh, walking, or pushing a mountain. It's like it's a very free flow. Like, it comes very naturally. So I'm blessed in that terms. And I think this is what I was made for or cut out for. And I found my passion and my I found my passion. So I think I'm happy with that.
Awesome. So, just backing on that question. So, since you're already a chef, you're cooking. Or, as you said, there's times when you're in the kitchen a longer time and sometimes shorter. So, who cooks at home?
At the moment, I am cooking because my wife takes care of the kid, and she cooks like all the meals that the kid eats is cooked by my wife. So I cook for us. So most of the meals that I cook, or we cook at home, I do it. Also, my wife pitches in, like she also does help me with the things, but most of the time I'm cooking. At the moment, I am doing it.
So, what's her favorite dish which you cook?
She loves pasta. She loves risotto. She likes Indian food also. So yeah, we cook a lot of regional. We are from south of India, so we cook a lot of regional our home food that we cook at home. So yeah, she loves those things.
All right, Chad. So now time for some fun.
Yeah.
So we have a segment. We have come up with a segment which is called Fast Five with the Rice. So we will ask you five quick questions, and you have to give us quick answers. It can be like one word or one sentence. Uh, are you ready for that? Okay. So first question: your kitchen runs out of ingredients last minute. Do you improvise like a chef or panic like a dad?
I improvise like a chef.
Midnight wake ups more stressful in a restaurant or as a dad?
As a dad.
Um, Toddler, take this one. Who's pickier about food? Customers at the restaurant or your child?
Oh, my child. As my wife or
No, I cooking at home. Do you go full gourmet or like simple, like since you're Indian, dal roti or dal chawal?
simple, wholesome food. That's what I like to cook at home.
Okay, so the biggest critic, your restaurant manager or your little one?
Oh, my little one. She likes something, she'll eat it. If she doesn't, you'll know it right away. The food will be on the floor.
Well, Chan, I must say this has been a great conversation. So we really thank you for being here. This conversation is not just inspiring for us sitting here, it's very inspiring for immigrants who want to come here. A lot of people have a dream of coming to a foreign country, especially, from countries like India. They really dream about coming to a foreign country, but then they don't know where to start. So, and there are certain prejudices that, if I go to this country, it's only in this line. If I go, I will be successful. But with, you being in the culinary industry, this definitely gives a lot of kids back home who do hospitality to get into an industry which is not the regular one, get into a niche and, kind of succeed in the industry. So this definitely will help a lot of them. And we are really, really thankful that you took time and came here.
Of course, no, I would like to thank Rai Connect for inviting me, and it was my pleasure to be a part of this talk in this podcast. And I wish you guys all the best, Pranita and Sakshata, for your future success. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So, Chad, thank you for sharing your story and inspiring us. This is just a token of appreciation for coming and making your time for us.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So we hope that this reminds you that your journey was not just inspiring, it was a eye opener to a lot of people, and this has given the community a lot of information on your industry. So also to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share, like, and follow, and also leave a comment on how we did today.
If you want to share your stories, please email us at theRaiConnect@outlook.com. Until next time, this is Sakshata and Pranita signing off from The Rai Connect. Stories that inspire and journeys that do. Thank you all.